Man.
Hey,
Huh.
weren't we supposed to have a guest here today?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, did we get the date wrong?
I don't know. Where?
I
I don't know where. I don't know where he might be, but
don't know either, man. What's going on here? I
I
don't
don't know. It's
I don't
so weird.
understand. What's that?
Ah!
What's that? What
Ah!
the? Oh my god! Oh my
Ah!
god! Oh
Oh
my
no!
god!
Ah!
Calling all retro gamers.
Calling all retro gamers!
Calling all
Retro gamers!
Calling all
retro
retro
gamers!
Hey, what's up? What's going on, everyone? Search Haywood here, Bacon Ice Cream Productions, Team RTFC here with my buddy Ed, RetroKillDashNine.
RetroKillDashNine!
What's up? And we have a guest.
Yes.
What's going on? It's Miketendo Power.
Yes.
What's going on?
Hey.
Hey guys, what's up? How's it going?
Hey.
Welcome.
Excellent. So, we'll wait for people to join, and then we'll play the clip. So, first I want to talk about, I think, how I found you or how you found me, and you can feel free to correct me. I think I want to say that through Instagram, maybe through Instagram initially. I don't know if it was a suggestion or whatever, but I saw like this like kind of cool like Michael Myers like mask with like a fur, like, hat or whatever on top, and then I think I clicked in your profile. And I found your channel. I think maybe it happened to be Evercade. Either that, or you might have watched my videos and followed me, and then I checked out your channel.
I want to say it was actually on the Facebook, on the Evercade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I saw some of your videos, and I did check one out one time. Yeah, and I think that's where it started.
Yes. And so what's really cool, and we'll kind of play the clip to show here in a second, that in the retro space, it's very difficult to do new things that are inventive, right? And you have like people, like who like also like like your middle Jesuses that open like 50 boxes at a time, but that's not as exciting. What's neat is like the way that you do it. It's very like Adult Swim like, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it's very cool. It has a cool vibe. Like you have like the arcade 1-ups in the background, and like you open the boxes and like you're surprised, and it's a lot of fun. And sometimes you'll have the clips in the corner or you'll play it there. And then for all of you who don't know, sometimes he'll do like a Michael Myers like intro, which is awesome that we're going to play. He did a whole episode of Michael Myers, which was just insane. So yeah, whenever I see your videos come on, I always enjoyed it. It's always fun. I feel like you're kind of wacky like me and Rich. So it's neat to.
Oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, I love. I've always loved Halloween and 80s horror slasher movies. So Michael Myers, he's definitely one of my favorites.
That's awesome.
We're huge Halloween fans. Matter of fact, like on my Windows lock screen, that's why I have like a picture of like Michael Myers. So it's like, yeah, we can relate. Rich, do you want to show that cool Halloween thing, or are you saving that for later?
Oh yeah, no, we could roll that. Kind of like an intro to Miketendo and his whole.
No, not the clip. That other thing. That other
the other thing. Well, let's do that later because I want to intro that.
Yeah, let's show the clip, and then before you show it real quick, there's a monitor in the background, Jamie Lee Curtis, and the first time I'm ashamed of myself. There's kind of like a cool Easter egg, and I didn't spot it. You probably will, Rich. But yeah, go ahead. It's like 30 seconds. Yeah, go ahead and play that.
Yeah, let's roll this clip. Let's go.
How good the audio's there. I love this. The anime blanket was the way you get. Yeah, dude. I mean, just like the mannerisms and everything. And you had like the jumpsuit, and so did you notice it, Rich, on the monitor?
Yeah, the Activa.
Yes,
that's hilarious.
I cannot believe. Yeah, that was like an awesome
cool
Easter egg. I was ashamed that I didn't notice that because she did those commercials for a while. So
yeah.
So yeah, we'll put a link in the show notes to Mike's channel. You got to check it out. He does like those like crazy like Michael Myers like intros like every time and all that.
Yeah. That link should already be in the show description, so everybody hit down that below and check that out. It's definitely good stuff. But speaking of people that might be watching now, let's pop in and say hello to some people. We got Why I Love This Stuff. What's going on? Get to watch live. How's it going? Chris Westerman. How's it going? We've got Ian. He's here. He's here. You know what's coming next.
Oh yeah. RetroKillDashNine! Just
What's going on? What's going on? It's like Why I Love This Stuff. Now convinced me to sub. The pressure is on. Well, hopefully we're gonna have an entertaining show for you tonight. It's pretty good. And then Chris saying hi to Ian. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. So what we like to do with every guest that comes on is we like to ask them a question, kind of like an icebreaker, that kind of thing. So Ed, why don't you toss that question out there?
Yes, this is kind of a fun question. So think back. Usually, think back to your childhood where it was that one retro game. It could be for anything, computer. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your favorite game. It doesn't even have to be a game that, let's say, that you like. The main thing is it's like that game that really inspired you and kind of like how you feel like made you kind of like the retro gamer that you are today, or something that really influenced you.
That's pretty easy. Because to me, I'm such a huge fighting fan. Like I love 2D fighters and 3D fighters, beat 'em ups, and the one game that really kind of got me gaming more, I guess, back in the day, was Street Fighter 2, because it I don't know, it just brought in my love for competitive gaming a little, and arcades in general. Like, I don't know, yeah, definitely Street Fighter 2. I'd say.
Nice. So you're from the era like us, where you could be there gaming, and somebody would just be like, hey, can I challenge you? Or they're just putting a quarter, or like then the next person would put their quarter up on the.
Definitely. Every day, like after school, I'd go to my there's like, it'd be like a stop and go across the street where I lived.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd always meet up and play some rounds, and we definitely put our quarters up on the machine, on the marquee or whatever.
Dude, that's an excellent choice, because I remember Street Fighter, it was mind blowing, and matter of fact, that was like the whole reason I got a Super Nintendo. For Street Fighter 2, when I saw like the arcade port, and like Street Fighter 2 was like, I think at that time it was like 50 something. The Super Nintendo you could get for $200 with like 2 controllers and like Super Mario 4. And at the time, I lived in a small little town. I remember calling over to the Target asking if they had any Street Fighter 2s, and they were willing to keep it under the table. So yeah, I had like lots of fond memories of playing that. And then of course, I'm sure like when Champion came out, you probably bought that, and like Hyper Fight, Yeah.
I had the first one I'd gotten was actually like Hyper Fighting, Turbo Hyper Fighting.
Oh, nice.
And I aced that game. Like you could like play the game on the hardest difficulty or whatever, and I'd play without losing a round, basically. And
oh, wow.
And you get like these stars at the end or whatever. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Like, you get like up to 8 stars or something.
Mm-hmm.
Each character.
Dude, the sad thing about that is I totally remember a teenage me that was like really awesome, could beat all my friends, and like like I suck and compared. But I remember those years where like you had like the dexterity. Yeah, you could like, No, definitely that's a great addition, because you can be like all the bosses, and it's faster, and you can adjust the speeds, and excellent. And I'm sure you were probably like me, that you didn't even know Street Fighter 1 existed. You're like, hey, this is Street Fighter 2. It's cool. It's fighting.
Yeah. When Street Fighter 1 came out, like I was pretty young, and I remember the first version I saw were the ones with the like 2 big buttons that you had to punch.
Mm-hmm.
Those were crazy. I was like too intimidated to like even try. I was like, what the heck? And like, no, I'm good.
What about we brought up the genre of fighting games. What about like Mortal Kombat?
I dabble a little into Mortal Kombat too. I'm not as good as Street Fighter, but I do like some Mortal Kombat for sure.
Gotcha. Or I kind of mean like more of the experience, because back then, like, kids today take violence like that for granted. And the gore games, be like, oh my god, you can rip the guy's head off, and yeah. Good times, good era. Awesome.
Absolutely.
What growing up, what was your main like console system? Like, what was the first console you got into?
The first console I think I ever got was a 2600.
Nice.
I had very few games, like maybe 10 or 12, something like that. And I was young, and I didn't know. To me, it didn't matter what it was good and what was sorry. Like, it was all the same to me. I was a kid, So ET was like one of the games I owned, and I I really tried to play the hell out of it, and no, I could never get out of the damn pits or whatever like you'd fall into.
I'm not alone. Yeah. Because I was like I think me and Rich is like first official system, so that's cool. And
Yep.
The reason I ask is because some people I know, kind of depending on their age, like Super Nintendo's their first system or Nintendo, so it's kind of neat. Anyone out there in the audience have a question for Mike, please? Oh, and you don't have to just type your question.
Yes,
if you want to put up the number on the screen, you can call and leave us a message.
That's right. Yeah. You go right down there in the scrolling bar. You can dial 929-548-2274 or 929-548-CARG.
CARG. Yep.
And just go ahead and leave us a message, and then maybe we can get you on the program here. That'd
yeah. But ask Mike a question. It has to be appropriate, or we won't play it.
Yeah. So
our audience is cool. Yeah.
So I've got a question for you though, Mike, because you've been on other shows in the past, and you when you were on the VGDS podcast, you were talking about your love for all things Master System. How did that come to pass? How did you enter the Master System world? Is the question I would like to ask you.
It was like the second console I got, and
Nice.
To be honest, I don't remember how. My mom had to have gotten it somehow, and I don't recall it being brand new because I don't remember ever having the box for it.
Okay.
Same thing with the games. I guess I was kind of too young to remember. I don't know, but I definitely some of the first games I did have were like Shinobi.
Nice.
And I would think to myself, because I would play that at the either the arcade or a grocery store. Like they used to have games all the time, and I'd play Shinobi there. And when I go home, play it on the Sega, I was like, man, this really did kind of play a lot like the arcade. It may not have looked like it exactly, but it did play a lot like it. And my love kind of started growing. And I remember one day my uncle got me a Choplifter, and it was another fun game. It was difficult, but I loved it.
Absolutely.
Then other games, Double Dragon. That it's like the most sentimental game. It's actually the only game I still own that I have like from my childhood too.
Oh, nice.
Dude, that's awesome. That
is
From
awesome.
my childhood. That's incredible.
My copy of Double Dragon from my childhood was actually the 2600 version.
Ooh.
Of Double Dragon.
Wow.
The Atari 2600 version.
That's cool.
So yeah, it wasn't until much later that I had that copy. It was actually probably a year and a half ago that I got my copy of the Master System version of Double Dragon, then played that. And you're right though, the way that all these Sega ports were brought to the system, they're a lot more analogous to their arcade counterparts than anything you'd find on the NES. And I thought that was really neat. I found it so neat that I actually wound up playing through all of Double Dragon on the Master System in my second sitting because I wanted to experience how close it was to the arcade. And then immediately, because back then I also had a Legends arcade cabinet that had Double Dragon on it. So I played through the entire Sega Master System version, then got up and played the arcade version. And I was like, wow, I cannot believe how close it is. I mean, obviously, graphics aside and music aside, of course. But the way that they've converted all of those stages was so close. I had to give a hat tip to them. That just kept the train rolling for me. I'm a huge Master System fan. I've been collecting, recollecting for a long time. And now, like in starting over and doing all the other stuff that I'm doing over at the old Bacon Ice Cream Studios. It's just it's passion that doesn't go away. So and I'm having so much fun right now. I'm playing Golden Axe Warrior, so I'm going straight through dungeon for dungeon, and it's actually a series that I have on the channel.
I never got a chance to play that one.
Oh man, it's such a great game.
It makes Zelda look easy.
Yeah,
it's really it is brutal, but it's cool. It's very cool.
But yeah, we all love Double Dragon and Technos. Like, didn't know
Oh,
the
yeah.
Master System. We grew up playing like the NES and
Mhm.
NES versions of Double Dragon 1 and 2, and they're like, oh, they have this in the arcade.
Yeah.
Ian Hobbies has a question for Mike.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, let's roll
Yeah.
with that. Ian's question is, Mike, do you use arcade sticks heavily early on in your Street Fighter gaming, like the NES Advantage stick?
I use a combination. I have a for my Xbox. I still have my Dead or Alive arcade stick. I use that a lot for arcade games and Street Fighter. If I'm playing X-Men in the arcade game or something, yeah, I love using my arcade stick for that, for stuff like that. Yeah, definitely. Or the little Hori 6-button fight pads and whatnot. Yeah. Or I can just use a regular DualShock or something.
Yeah.
And I kind of have a weird technique of playing where I kind of like use my fingers and tap. It's kind of weird, but
no,
Cool.
I had a friend growing up that did the exact same thing. And he was like, it's so much easier. And I'm like, okay. So I tried to do it, but I just couldn't. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Nor could I actually wrap my head around the fight stick thing in general. Like, I know that it's technically better than using a regular control pad, but I can't get out of it because that's where I learned, right? I always went to a friend's house because growing up I didn't have an SNES, Genesis. I didn't have any of that stuff until way later, until I got a job, and then then I bought everything. I bought literally everything. But having that control pad, I learned because that's what my friends had, right? I'd go over and play Super Nintendo, play Street Fighter, and I learned it on the pad, right? Then somebody got Killer Instinct, the pad, et cetera, right? All the way down the line. So I always have a fondness for people that use the arcade stick because I can know that they're having a great experience. I never got there. I never got to that thing where I'm actually using the arcade stick the way it's meant to be in an arcade game. With the exception of maybe one game at the arcade, there's a local arcade called 8 on the Break, where I used to live growing up, and they had a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinet. And in order to do anything in that cabinet, you must learn at least something. So I learned some quick combos with Wolverine because he's the easiest to learn to get sort of good to the medium good level. So I ran a team of the double Wolverines and Ryu because that's what I knew how to do, and I got okay. I mean, I was never the guy who used to run the table. There was some guy that was there every weekend, and he would just go to the cabinet and he would put in his 50 cents or $1 or whatever it was, and then he would just sit there for hours just destroying everybody that came up. So it's pretty cool.
it's all about those like air combos, man, on Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, you learn that pretty quick too, because you're like, why are you kicking me up in the air? Oh, now I know. Not because I can't, now I can't get down, and now it's all over.
Yeah, competitively, like on Marvel vs. Capcom, on those games, I'm not the greatest at all, but the older school, like Turbo Hyper Fighting, I'm like way better. But
Nice.
I don't know. I guess I'm just more used to the older, but it's all good to me though. I love them all.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy them too. And for what I would call like dangerous good, for me, as far as like console fighting games, my game was Tekken.
Yeah.
I was. People would come over and be like, all right, cool, what do you want to play? And I'd be like, oh, sweet, want to throw it on Tekken? And the answer would be no. Like, my friends would be like, no, man, I'm good.
That's great.
Because I played the wheels off of those games when I finally got my PlayStation. And I was there for when Tekken 3 came out. I got it on launch day. And then 3.5 hours later, I had every character unlocked. I had all that stuff for the mini games unlocked. I'd beaten I'd done it all. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Now I'm ready to fight. Let's go. And day one, Tekken 3, you figured, all your friends would want to come over and play. But then they realized that I was really good.
Those are the days.
They're like, no. You play against the computer some more. I'm like, all right, fine. But yeah, no, those were the days, because then you actually like had time to learn stuff. I don't have time like that anymore.
Right.
So that's pretty good. Do you have any other questions for Mike there, Ed?
I guess just out of a curiosity, it's kind of fun to know like what got you into like doing YouTube and putting up a YouTube channel and like doing the opening, the box opening and all that good stuff.
I guess years back, I was sort of influenced. I actually started my channel, I think 5 or 6 years ago. But to be honest, I didn't really put any effort in it. I made like 1 or 2 unboxing videos of like loot crates and stuff back then.
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't keep up with it. And for years, I was more of a spectator and using my channel to like use to make comments on other people's channels or whatever.
Yeah.
But eventually, I guess I started watching more videos, and I started getting into people like like the Angry Video Game Nerd, of course. Some of his some of his humor, I would say, is kind of like inspired me to my little craziness, I guess. I don't know.
Nice.
I watched people like Model Jesus and people like that. Radical Reggie. I think there's a whole lot, really.
Sure.
I can't think of it right off my head, but I just and unboxings. I'd seen on like the video game monthlies and stuff. Yeah, some people a co-op of nerds. I watched them with their unboxings. I was like, man, that looks kind of interesting. Like, and the Dewey Nerd.
Yeah,
I watched them too, and it kind of got me into it, I guess. I was like, man, I could do that. Oh no, I try it. Okay, so here I am. I've been doing it now for a little over a year, so I'm really in my second year of being more consistent with my videos. To be honest,
yeah.
I do keep a playlist, and I really need to make a tour type of thing for my channel, because I do have different topics. I do different things. I have the unboxing videos. I have some gameplay videos.
Mm-hmm.
I have some videos of my video game collections. I unbox stuff like Garbage Pail Kids.
Nice.
So a little bit of different stuff here and there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I remember one where I think you got like one of those new mini arcades, but it was hilarious. Like you had like figures, like it looked like it was full, it looked like it was full size, and it wasn't. So yeah, cool.
Yeah. I got there's a Street Fighter one. I have a little Street Fighter in my arcade, and that video had the most views for me. It had like over 1,000 something views.
Nice.
So like I just hit the algorithm that time, I guess. But
that's awesome.
YouTube's crazy like that.
I haven't really been close since, but I mean, I'll get there. I don't know.
Yeah, the main thing is it's just for fun, and that's as long as you're having fun doing it, that's all that matters, and hopefully a couple people watch you, and that's all you can ask for.
That's it, right? That's what it's all about, And then for me too, it's all about hanging out and meeting cool people and having awesome conversations, right?
Yeah, so many cool people.
Yeah, it's really cool, really cool.
Knowing that they have like crazy interests like you, and it's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I know it's not technically a retro gaming topic, but all three of us are interested in the Halloween horror movie franchise. So my next question is, how did you get into that? And then where are you in the Halloween fandom? Do you like just like the classic stuff, or are you all in? You watch all of them and that kind of thing?
So let's get right down to the question. I know you want to. How do you feel about Halloween 3? I think that's what you want to ask.
Halloween 3? That's a good question. Honestly, part 3 is one of my favorites
Nice.
because it's so different,
Mhm.
and it was like originally what the idea of Halloween was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But Michael Myers just kept returning, so. But I know I love part 3. As a kid watching it always freaked me out.
That was
Watching the kids put their masks on.
that was one of the freakiest things I've ever seen in any horror movie, bar
And
none.
Silver Shamrock song.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not supposed to have happened. That's the right answer, by the way. No, just kidding. No, but like, no, I kind of felt the same way. Like, I was just like blown away by how weird it was. I know some people are put off, but like, just pretend it's not called Halloween 3. Just look at the movie for what it is. In a way, I kind of wish they did more of those weird like anthologies. I mean, I love Michael Myers, but yeah, that was just weird, cool.
Yeah. Well, and I guess in a way, you know, we get some of those horror anthologies in different ways from different creators. But I always wonder, like back in you go back in time, and you had Halloween 1, 2, and then I always wanted to go back and say, like, what if Halloween 3 was a hit? You know, what if it came out and just slammed in the theater? What would Carpenter be doing right now with that series? Like, would it have turned into a true anthology series, and you would have gotten extra stuff? Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the fact that they did go back and I like the Danielle Harris trilogy. You know, like I like 4, 5, and 6. You know, 4 or 5 much more than 6. But I like that because it also gave me more Donald Pleasance, and you know, like everybody needs more Donald Pleasance. You know, and it's, you know, it was just such a cool kind of like side story almost to the series. But it would have been even cooler, I think, to see if Carpenter had stayed and kept writing and kept directing those. It would have been really neat.
So since you brought up backgrounds, there's kind of, you may be surprised. So like as a kid, like I always was fascinated by horror movies, and I think the fact that my parents didn't want me to like see them, I wanted to see them more. But I really didn't get more into it as an adult. Like my now wife, like she exposed me to a lot of that, like, you know, back before streaming services, just like buying the Halloweens and all that.
Mm.
And like, don't like I love Freddy and all that. But what I like about Michael so much is that like he doesn't need to do gimmicks. Like him himself is just scary.
Yeah.
Like how he just goes and just stalks people, and then it's just, you know, he just doesn't care. He just, you know, it's like he's kind of like a much more intelligent, like Jason Voorhees, for lack of a better, you know, like he's almost kind of aware, and it's just no explanation. It's just, I don't know, it's just cool. He's a mystery.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me is that in the very first film, what I think makes the first film so good is the fact that everything up until the last 7 minutes of the movie could have been real. Like that could have happened. You know, that could have been like, you know, one of those movies that's like based on a true story, right? You know, somebody just like loses it or whatever, and goes on this thing, and like that could have happened, and that's what makes it scary for me.
Yeah.
Because it's all like it's all totally cerebral in the fact that it's not so over the top, right? You know, like, you know, the idea of Jason Voorhees is already inherently over the top, right?
Yeah.
You know, somebody's been living in a lake for, you know, decades. They just decide, oh, hey, I'm going to come up and just, you know, go after camp counselors. It's like, all right, you know, like you can see the camp coming for you, right? The Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger's character is kind of like, it breaks the, you know, the imagination, because it's like, well, it's very scary to see, you know, like think that there's something can get you in your head, right?
Yeah.
But it's suspension of disbelief, because you're like, well, you know, theoretically that's not possible to happen, right?
Michael Myers isn't wasting any time. Like by the time you see him, and to your point, Rich, it's cool because he doesn't use like any supernatural thing other than he can't die. Like he just uses his knife or whatever. But the one thing about, even though he, like all like villains, killers, they have a creed. Like he just won't kill like small children unless it's like Jamie Lee Curtis. You know what I mean? Like if there's if there's a kid, like they're trick or treating, like it's weird. Like he'll just like let them be. But as soon as you get teenager above, you know, then you're gone. So it's kind of neat. Like the morals, like, so, you know, there's like a little bit, you know, I always find that fascinating. Like, you know, how far do, you know, do they go? Hopefully we're not boring people out there, but yeah,
Halloween. Yeah, like, yeah, welcome to Halloween.
You know what? I think definitely what we need to do is is an actual like Halloween or close to Halloween. We need to do a special card, and we'll have like Michael back, and we'll do like the show will just be dedicated 100% to Halloween.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be
fun
awesome.
if people
Well,
want that, or even if not.
People listening, people listening on on replay or even here in the chat. I mean, if you guys are down for an episode like that, leave the comments and we'll plan it out, because that'd be awesome.
Tell you what, we'll still keep it retro related in that we'll research there's like some of like the some of the game like Halloween games out there for like Atari and I think Nintendo, and we'll talk about that.
He's been around. He's been around in that thing. But speaking of, I think that is a segment. Also, loving that comment there from Chris. How they have the Silver Shamrock mask in the new movies. That's pretty cool. For sure. I do want to say this is a segue so we can get into some of our topics for tonight. Something might have happened very recently where I don't know if anyone knows, but over here at the Bacon Ice Cream Studios, we got affected pretty severely by the recent big storm in Ida. Where pretty much everything that was in my home in the basement got wrecked, which was sad. It was sad times, but I put a whole bunch of stuff in a bin, because I just couldn't let go of some things. As you're taking the stuff, bucket by bucket up from the basement, there's just some things you look at and you're like, I just cannot let this go, not yet anyway. So that all went into bins and then went in to another storage area. But I did just so happen to start taking stuff out of that storage area just to see if we could clean some stuff. So what I want to do is segue into a little preview of something that may or may not appear quite shortly on the channel. So why don't we take a quick look at that, and then maybe we can talk about that for a couple minutes, and then we'll get into our topics. So let's check it out.
So just a quick preview of some of the things that we'll be restoring here.
Turn it up a little bit.
Rich's Retro Restorations. Take a look at this guy. It's the Halloween Wizards video game tin sign that not a lot of people got to see, except for I think maybe one episode of Good Times with Retro Rich during a community prompt where I pulled it down. Normally, this sign is actually directly in front of me as I was sitting down at the studio, just so it's kind of like always there to see. And the reason why is because it's one of the games that I always wanted to have in my collection. I don't know why. It's kind of an awful game, but at the same time, it's still awesome because Halloween is one of my favorite horror series of all time. It's probably my favorite horror series
music
ever. In fact, Halloween breaks my top 3 movies of all time. The first one. So anyway, let's take this upstairs because this one doesn't require the isopropyl and all this kind of stuff. It's just tin. So let's take this upstairs and get it into the sink and see what we can do.
That is so awesome, dude. I love the Halloween-inspired music. Oh, look at that. It's cleaning up very... Oh, cool. Oh, okay. That was the picture that you showed me later. I love it, though, because it still has character to it. Like, I like the worn look. Like, that's...
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. I love how you sped this up, dude. It's like so... Dude.
Alright, so, quick wash, and what do we got? Nice.
Oh, that looks
Looking
so
nice
cool.
and clean. No more grime, except for, apart for actually what the sign is supposed to look like. You can read everything there. Retard video game system, Sears Arcade, now a video game, all that kind of stuff. You can see it's actually shiny now with the light on there.
I love it. All the
This is
dirt's
all
off.
nice and clean.
Yeah.
It's kind of dirty, a little ratty beforehand. And there you go. Looks pretty nice. And now I can go back up. upstairs in the new studio. Maybe we'll find a place for it, which will likely be directly in front of me, so I can actually kind of look at it and hang out with it. So there you go, folks. So let's call this one the pilot of, here's the quotes, there it is, Rich's Retro Restorations. Hope you guys like that, and well, the next time you see me, we should have a little more cool things going on in the vids. All right, awesome. See you guys.
Dude, you nailed it. That was so the funny thing is, like, a few days ago, like, me and Rich had a talk and he was like describing, like, I had this idea, this, like, dude, you nailed it. That is exactly the vision that you told me. That's so cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
So
I had
cool.
a lot of fun doing it, and well, I mean,
And the music
worked,
with it
right?
too. Just...
Like, I was able to take something, it got all gunked up. I mean, that was real. That was, what was it? 5-6 months of just, like, that was real sediment. The river came into the house, and that's what happened. So it's going to be a lot more of that coming up for me, where I'm going to be looking into anything else that's in that bin, and I'm going to try to, like, clean it up. So it'll be different things. Sometimes it'll be a game, sometimes it'll be a system. Sometimes it'll be like little statues and stuff like that. I had a whole bunch of complete in box collector's editions for video games, and of course all that's that's just gone, right? All that stuff. But inside the boxes, can that stuff be cleaned? Can I, like, put it on a shelf somewhere in my office or whatever? That kind of thing. So just a little way of kind of turning my whole channel on its head, and seeing if I can do something new and see if people want to check that out. So that's probably going to be a thing that's going to be happening on the weekends on my channel. I'm going to try to see if I can slot that in, maybe do one a week, and then then truly on the channel there'll be something every day at that point, because I already do Monday through Friday. We have the Evercast on Saturday, and then then there'll be this.
Dude,
but,
I love that so much. That as long as you kept Master System Mondays, if you didn't have time to do anything else, like, dude, that's my new favorite thing of yours. That was just,
Oh, awesome.
That was awesome. Like, you need to, like, put priority on that, and the chat. Let us know. Do you want Rich to put priority on that? Like, on his channel.
Yes,
am
indeed.
I the only one blown away? I mean, dude, there it is.
There it is.
And it's not just because it's a Halloween. I mean, it could be like any, that makes it cooler, but it could be like any retro video game.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And the reason I had this sign is I found this actually on a whim at, like, it was either like a retro store or something like that in Pennsylvania, or maybe I got this one online. I forget exactly where I got this, but as soon as I saw it, I knew I needed to have it, because not only is it something for Halloween, but it's something from Halloween the video game, which is one of the things that I want in my collection. And again, I don't know why I want this.
Isn't it something disgusting, like $500 loose and like $1,000 in box?
It's stupid expensive. Stupid expensive.
Yeah.
But I just want it because it's Halloween.
Yeah.
Like, that's that's what it is. I don't even know if I would even play it, because it's so, I played it on emulation, and oh man, that sound in that game is so brutal. It's so brutal. Evercadian approves for me. That's awesome. But yeah, so cool, man. I'm glad you guys dig it, and then hopefully we can do some cool stuff later.
Yeah, I'm impressed that you had the pilot together so fast. I mean, dude, that was just, we literally talked about this like 2 days or maybe a day ago, and I was like, dang, that's awesome.
Well, and the weird thing was, was like, I started thinking about it. I think I grabbed it yesterday, and I got everything prepped, and I came home from lunch today, and then shot that and cut it.
While we're on the topic of that, Mike, what's something cool from your collection that you want to?
Oh yeah,
you want to share?
What's your favorite thing in your collection?
Oh, in my collection.
It can either be behind you or off camera. I mean,
yeah.
Actually, because I can pull out a few.
Yeah.
Some of my gems.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah. Sure. On the topic of horror,
Yeah.
It's got.
Dude.
I don't have the instructions, but
still, I know, like, complete. That's worth like 400. I want to say it's probably worth at least 3. That's still a spendy, even loose. That's awesome,
mm-hmm.
dude.
It's really loose, because this is just a like a reproduction case, and Chris actually made this label for me.
Oh no!
Oh,
Dude,
cool.
there's nothing wrong with that's awesome to display it. Yeah, that's
Awesome.
really cool.
And speaking of, like, the Evercade, because
Yeah.
one of the games I'm really looking forward to is the renovation.
Yeah.
Because it's got a bunch of my favorites, and this is one of them. I don't know.
What title is that? I can't.
It's kind of hard to read. It's El Viento.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. That's another spending.
Very
Very cool.
It
Very
was one of
cool.
my favorite 2D platformers growing up.
Uh-oh. No, but dude, that's awesome. I think it's really cool to be able to if you have the original cards for the Evercade. It's kind of a neat thing to collect and keep. Very cool.
They had a lot of awesome games, but they're like a lot of cult hits, I guess. I don't know, but they're freaking expensive to try to collect them on like the cartridges.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was speaking of that, Sega Lord X, he put out 2 videos. One was the most expensive ones for he did for the Mega the 3 different regions in Europe, Japan, and US. That's how I know about Splatterhouse. But then he also did some cheaper ones, and he talked about that when he got into collecting it. I think he said 10 years ago, Sega Genesis cards on average are only $10. Then he could have said, well, and then whoever was collecting Nintendo, they got bored of that and they switched to, and they skyrocketed. So if you were to get everything on the renovation collection, the carts, isn't it $2,000 or something insane?
Yeah, it's really expensive.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty, right? Because here we are, 20-something bucks. You get all these great games and you can play them. And they're officially licensed, so it's awesome.
Yes, and listen, for people watching, we know it's not the original cart, but it's the next coolest thing that you can have, right? To actually owning physical media. So it's for us, that's good. That's good enough, and it's cool. If you have the physical cart, like Mike does on top of that, that's just
absolutely.
That's a neat display piece.
It's very cool. Very cool.
I got another game I want to share.
Oh, sure, yeah, let's go.
So I bought this game a while back at my local video game shop. It was a few years back, probably about 5 or 6 years, I think. And I got it for maybe $3, I think, $3 or $4.
All right.
But it's one of my most expensive ones. There's too much glare, I can't tell.
Yeah, what's the title on that?
It's Batman Forever.
Oh yeah, that's
nice.
right. The PlayStation, that is a pricey one.
Yeah. And
Nice.
it's complete, everything.
That's awesome.
Dude, very cool.
It's not the best Batman game or anything by far, but it's cool just to have in my collection, I guess.
Absolutely.
More for nostalgia, my favorite Batman one is probably that original one for Nintendo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You could change different weapons, and it was I think one of the first superhero games that I'd played on a console.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
It's the Famicom Batman.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's cool.
That's neat that you have those custom cases. That's really, especially since Nintendo never had hard cases. That's awesome.
This is the actual case.
Oh, it is? It came in that?
Yeah, for the Famicom.
Now did all Famicom games come in a case like that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Most of them boxes, I guess.
Okay.
Yep.
Dude, that's super. Oh, look, pull up that, unfold that post, dude. Hey, you've convinced why I love this stuff.
There we go.
Do we've done it. We've done our job. Good night, everyone. No. Oh, dude, that is so cool.
It's got the instructions on the back.
I love posters and ephemera,
so
all those
cool.
little inserts. No, that's neat. I didn't know certain Famicom carts that they did that. Man,
Yeah.
Nintendo, if they weren't so cheap, imagine if they did that with everything. Well, then the full box copies wouldn't be as much, but they would have survived though.
Yeah.
It's a plastic case. It's pretty cool.
Dude, that's like a mini
awesome.
Genesis case. That's why I thought you had that custom.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
It's like a mini Genesis case.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
still not too late to leave us a message.
Yeah, I remember I imported the Transformers game and I had it in a box. And when the box came from Japan, I mean the deterioration on the cardboard is something else. It was just kind of just wrapped around the cartridge. You pull it out and then you could put the box on the table. It would just crumble.
Yeah.
But I didn't care because it's the first Famicom game I ever imported.
And
Was
it's
the
hard as
Transformers
nails
game.
too.
And
I
it
remember seeing that
really is
video.
hard as nails. That
But
video I
Famicom
did, I
carts
was
are-
like, wow.
Famicom carts are so cool because here in the US, all of them are pretty much gray.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like at least they have different colors and like the artwork.
Yeah, all different colors. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
And
It's
they're a lot easier like to collect because they're smaller. It's like I can't. Alpha game.
Alf, yeah.
I know they had Alpha Master System.
They did have Alpha Master. It's on my list. It's on my list to get.
I know it's a crazy game.
There
you go.
is.
Oh, dude.
There it is. That's awesome.
That's one of my hitters there.
Yeah, so I'm going top down in all my collections. So I started at the top for me is Golden Axe Warrior, and Alf is like I think the next one on my list that I want to get. I don't count Sonic 1 US because technically, according to price charting, Sonic 1 US is the most expensive Master System game that there is. But you can import the PAL version, which is the same game, for like $30. So it's like whatever. It's
and Rich, is that the version? I can't remember if it's for Master System or Genesis, where like there was like a sticker on there that makes it even insanely crazy. But I've heard that sticker is like faked a lot, so it's like
that is the Sonic 1 US. That
Yeah.
is it has to have the sticker over the UPC in order to qualify for the.
just get the European one. We don't need
exactly. But
I'm all about getting the
universally, Golden Axe Warrior is a higher priced title. No matter where you get it, you can get PAL version. You can get, the Japanese version. It could be anything. Hey, Rigatoni, what's up?
Rigatoni, and I can say that because I'm Italian.
He's like, well, last record, that's what I did. Did you get the Sonic from there? Oh, that's the difference.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, sweet. Yeah, Sega Lord X is pretty cool. Yeah, he is an underappreciated channel.
Heck yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But I'm hoping later on I can get some more of that stuff. But we were talking offline of what I'm doing now, as far as collecting goes, and the current collecting is I've dipped into the Game Gears. That's what I'm doing now because it's small. That's Crystal Warriors there. Just picked that up actually recently. And then I got like some random ones. Joe Montana football because it's my favorite football game of all time.
Why not?
And I actually picked that one up on a whim because it was the Super Bowl. I do the Super Bowl using Joe Montana football every year on the channel as a live stream. I live stream it about 3-4 hours before kickoff of the game. But this year I forgot because I don't know why I forgot, but all my games are not around, right? So I'm like, oh no, I don't have a Joe Montana to play. So I went to Retro Classics in Somerville and I was looking for Joe Montana on Master System. They didn't have a copy, but they had a billion copies of Joe Montana on the Game Gear. So I was like, well, the 3-in-1 adapter will work. So let me do that. So I picked up a copy. It was $2.
Yeah.
And I just did the whole stream using the Joe Montana on the Game Gear. But the weird thing is it's actually different. On the Game Gear version, half of the playbook is not there. Like it just doesn't exist. So I was like, oh sweet, I know what I'll do. I'll just go to the playbook and we're gonna do there's two plays and they're basically just sideline plays. A sideline slant pass to the visitor side or to your home side, right, of the field, right on the out of bounds line, and they call the play Wilbur's left or Orville's right, but the Game Gear version only has the one play, so you can only run to that side.
Oh man!
So not only is it not a good thing because you can't you can't confuse the defense because the defense is like you can only run that one side. So if you run it two plays in one full set of downs, they're gonna catch on, which is weird. But on the Master System version, the whole playbook's there, so you just pass it out a different direction. You can just stomp them. But yeah, it's kind of hilarious to do that. But yeah, that's it's fun. It's fun to get in there. And you know what? The other thing I found about the Game Gear by playing Joe Montana is the fact that it's basically another Master System, right? I mean, all these games, they all have the same kind of chiptune set. They have the same kind of graphic styling, a little less than Master System, to be honest, but they're very analogous. So I was like, oh well, I mean, I'm just gonna start collecting Game Gear then, because it's like I just getting more Master System games while I wait to get a bigger area to put actually my Master System.
It's like its cousin. I remember back in the day they had that Master System adapter you could slap on and.
No, yeah, on the Game Gear itself.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. Except for one thing though, I have a Retron 5, and there is one game that I found out later on. Why I love this stuff. Yeah, the Game Gear is a portable Master System. This game right here, which is the next game I wanted to do after I finished Golden Axe Warrior, is Axe Battler. That's this guy right here. And the reason why is because where Golden Axe Warrior is the analog to Zelda 1, Axe Battler is the analog to Zelda 2. They made the games like very similarly. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'll just do that. But the Retron doesn't play the cart. So now I got to find a way to like emulate it or something like that. It just simply will not work. And I finally found out over the weekend on some random old Retron site, somebody has an updated list. It's a Google sheet that they keep records of the thing. It will load the cart, and it does. It loads like the Sega logo and then just goes blank. But that's apparently by design, right? There's nothing that you can't get past it. It wasn't the cartridge's fault. It's the system. It's the Retron. It doesn't do it.
You wouldn't by chance have Pac-Man for the Game Gear, would you?
Pac-Man for the Game Gear? No, I do not.
Yeah.
I do, however, have it. I do, however, have it for the Atari 2600.
Oh yeah.
I bought 2 new cartridges for the Atari 2600 after the flood. It's that, and then the other one I have, hopefully I won't knock everything else down grabbing it again, is Berserk.
Oh, nice.
And I got Pac-Man because it's actually this month, in fact, for the 2 days that we have left in March, is the 40th anniversary officially of the release of Pac-Man on the 2600, which is kind of cool. I kind of wanted to do a little thing on that on the channel, but yeah, it's pretty neat.
I have that one, but that because you brought that up about Axe Battler, I could never get it to work on my Retron. Either.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's the game or if it's just not compatible.
It's the whatever they use for the emulation on the inside of the Retron. They never came out with an update that patched it so Axe Battler will run. So it's never gonna run because I don't think Hyper King does anything to the Retron anymore.
No.
So we have to find some kind of other method of capturing.
Because they didn't get licensed simulators, and I remember them like Just Pete had like that awesome decked out Game Gear. He popped it in and worked right away. So it was like,
yeah.
And that's the only problem I have sometimes with like some clone systems and other things is that sometimes it could be like that one cart you want to play because of a chip, or it could even be like a homebrew or a repo cart and it won't work. It's like, somebody needs to be a competitor to analog. Like imagine if they made an analog pocket, get rid of the screen. Get rid of all the adapters. What I kind of want is like a Polymega Lite that's just cart based.
Yeah.
Like it just has all the cores, and you could put in like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, like not 64, but like maybe up until like 32X or whatever, and then you could just play all those carts, plug in controllers, all plug and play. Make it $200 or less. I'm interested. And they can play repo carts and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's right now it's like, oh, I thought I had the stable handheld solution in the Retron 5 because the Retron 5's got the Game Boy and GBA port in the front, and I was like, oh cool, well that handles everything up to 32-bit handheld for me on the Nintendo side, and they're like, oh, I got my Game Gear slot, so I'm good. And I'm like, well, I'm not good if I can't play Axe Battler because that's.
Does the Polymega have like an adapter that you can put in like the Sega Master System to play Game Gear games, or is that not supported?
Not that I know of. Not yet anyway, because the the Polymega has the Genesis adapter, but it doesn't. There's nothing specifically for Master System. But when the Polymega finally arrives at my home, it'll be a long time before I get any of the other adapters to add on, because I'm going to use it basically for the disc system.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
Well,
I'm
that's where I was
straight-
going with it. You could
Yeah.
test it.
I'm going straight to Saturn. Like as soon as the Polymega arrives, I'm going right on eBay and I'm importing every Saturn game I can get my hands on, and then I'm gonna have to find another day in the week because I'm just gonna be playing Saturn games all the
Playing
time.
them all, download all like the language patches, and boom, you're
Yep.
done.
Oh, I gotta play your Lunar Magic School, man. I have to play it.
Heck yeah.
It's the way to go. It's the way to go. Just like Rigatoni wants to play Psycho Fox on a go. I want to play Lunar Magic School. Yeah, see, we got another shout out for that.
Oh, what game is
there's
that?
There's a Saturn Japan game. Is that
X-Men versus Street Fighter?
Nice.
Ooh,
Nice.
nice. It's one of the
Very
good
cool.
one of the really good ones.
Yeah, Rigatoni's got Axe Battler too. Awesome.
Fire.
Biohazard.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool.
That, if you've played through Resident Evil, you could almost play that without a translation. I'd probably still translate it anyways. But
Yeah.
I have Saturn, but I think my capacitors went out or something. I need to recap them.
Yeah.
yeah.
Apparently, that's a thing that happens on. Well, it happens on every one of these legacy systems, but in particular, I hear about recapping a lot of Sega systems, particularly it's Saturn and Game Gear, because you can pick up a Game Gear for pennies, still on eBay all day long. But then it's a roll of the dice. You get the Game Gear in your hand, you put the batteries in, you're ready to sacrifice those 6 AA's. For the half hour.
Dude,
of playing
you got to recap that. All the TurboGrafx products too. They go down. Turbo Express. I think I want to say Nintendo, maybe Nintendo Master System, Genesis, all those are solid. Nomad, I'm not sure. I think that you might want to recap, but
yeah.
If you can get your hands on a Nomad,
right? And some of the older Atari ones too, like 7800, also has cap issues.
Yeah.
As well, I'd bought 2 7800s that were working pretty fine until the day before I was going to do an episode of my old show that I want to bring back, that the Perfect Score Returns, when I did the Sequest episode.
Yes.
When I did that episode, I was intending on using the 7800 to do the capture, but I at the last minute had to go to Retro Classics and buy a Retron 77 because it stopped working.
Dude, Rich, I'll preach this into time. You need to link that.
Oh,
put
what,
that in the notes. I don't know, that's like I'll keep saying that was just like my favorite all-time episode. You can see when Rich when he has the time. Oh my god, it's maybe even crazier than my videos. That's like the best intro ever, and it can't get enough love. The Old Man in the Sequest, or go to his channel. And
Cool.
It was a fun video.
Yes.
Thank you. It was such fun. It was such fun doing that. And all I wanted to do with that whole series, behind the scenes, right? This is real inside baseball to that. All I wanted to do was make a show that was kind of like something you would see on like a G4, right? Back in the day, when they were actually doing funny skits, and they didn't care about rules or whatever. But I wanted to mix that with Good Eats, kind of like the instructional side of Good Eats. If you ever saw that show on Food Network, the guy Alton Brown, he's a chef, but the way he presents all the information, it's like a lesson that's filled with pop culture references, and it's also a cooking show, right? So instead of turn that on its head, what if you get the lesson that's full of pop culture references and it's actually a video game show? It's kind of like, I guess the other idea, now that I think about it, and also because you mentioned it earlier in the show, it's kind of like if you took all of the vulgarity out of AVGN, and you just went more towards the geeky inside joke weirdness. That's kind of where Perfect Score Returns was the name of the show.
You should put that in the description.
I'll throw it in like a.
Hey, so Mr. Westerman has a good question, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, because before you answer that, because especially if I could find one on. I've thought about just getting it. It's already HDMI capable. You've got the controllers. You can jailbreak it. I've thought about pulling the trigger on that.
So the Retron 77 in particular, I think, is a 100% acceptable device to own if you want to capture video from an Atari console. A 2600 to be sure, because it's the only one that it does, right?
Yeah.
So that's the double-edged sword, right? It's perfect for that because you can do whatever you want. Now, there are some caveats. If you own Activision cartridges only, and you try to use the Retron 77, you might have some difficulty because the spring load. Oh, Stampede, that's so good.
Ooh.
If you have some Activision cartridges and you want to put it in your Retron 77, they have a hard time actually fitting in. The spring on the cart actually wants to push out of your Retron 77 at all times. So you either have to get it perfectly down so it sits, one way, or it's just going to keep popping out. Now, there is another answer.
Oh yeah, he's told me about this.
Now, there's a friend of mine. His name's Chris Cool. And he's on Atari Age. He makes this thing right here called the Lock-On. It's also known as the Tight Cart Fix. If I can get it to zoom in there. Now, what you do is you take an Atari 2600 cartridge. I'm going to use this as a bad example because this will actually just fit in the Retron and be fine. But you take the cartridge and you put it in here like that, right? And then you put this inside of the Retron, and it molds. It makes the mold from the Activision cartridge into a mold that's much more analogous to the standard 2600 cart, and then it fits perfect. This works well with the M Network games, the Intellivision games, Bump and Jump, Frogs and Flies, that kind of stuff. Makes it fit in the Retron just fine. And then the Activision cartridge, of course, is really what it was made for. Because at 2600, you want to play Stampede, you want to play Enduro, you want to play Pitfall.
Yeah, like the Pitfall 2 won't work from the cart, but it'll work from a ROM, and that's kind of my issue. Like if you want to play like the new homebrew games, you can't load them, so that's why. So I guess it's kind of like know those caveats or jailbreak it for all the games. I guess.
Well, so you don't need to jailbreak it to run ROMs.
You can just dump them on there.
In fact, yeah, you can actually just put the file right on an SD card, because when I owned my old Retron, I owned also a copy of it's not Casey's Gold, Circus Convoy. From the Audacity Games people. And that's Dan Kitchen oh man. Who was it? Was it Cartwright?
Brain fart too, but I know who you mean.
Yeah, I mean, so that whole group of there were the original Activision people doing new games now, but Circus Convoy was the one that came out first, that game's awesome. But the cart won't work in a Retron, so if you bought the collector's edition of the game, they gave you a ROM. And the ROM just loads right on. You just put it on an SD card, you put it in, the Retron sees it, you can play, which is really awesome. So
I think Mike is dying to show us off some of his.
Oh yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I see loading up box stuff. Yeah, go ahead and show
I can briefly show you my collection. It's I already showed you one. Stampede.
Nice. Yeah, it's David Crane. Yeah.
Crossbow.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
It's brand new.
That's awesome.
G.I. Joe.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
That's really cool.
And the last game is just Miss Pac-Man.
Miss Pac-Man.
I love that.
Very, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I've been thinking about getting that Retron 77.
It's really cool. I mean, it basically just makes it like, you've got an Atari 2600 that's got HDMI out, right? I mean, it's really neat. I like it a lot.
And I think it's on sale somewhere between 70 and 80. It could be cheaper, but the reason I bring that up is I can't remember that one modding site, but they sold like a 2600 that was modded, but it had AV out, and it was like $70. So the price wasn't bad, but they just said you don't get any cables, and I emailed them. I'm like, well, what about the AC adapter? No, and you don't even get that.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like for maybe around the same price or a little bit more, you could get a Retron with a controller, HDMI, and then boom, you're done. Unless you have a CRT, of course, but I don't know.
Is that paddle controller any good for it?
The paddle controller that Hyperkin makes.
Yeah,
it's okay, but they've got the 9-pin connector, so you can just put standard paddles in there.
I was going to say MLP made a video a while back where he fixed his, and I was like, dude, that would be so cool with Breakout. Like, that's all I need.
Oh yeah. When I've played Breakout on the Retron using original paddles, and it plays exactly like it should, which is awesome. And it also has it because of the 9-pin. I didn't use because I have a new Retron 77. I don't use the controller it comes with because I got another 7800 controller, and I use the 7800 controller for.
Oh yeah, those are much better. Yeah.
And like it's a personal preference thing. A lot of people like the standard joystick. Like the square with the button and all that kind of stuff. And for my hands, I don't know what it is, but the 7800 just kind of just sits right in my palm, and the triggers are right there. You'll get gamer thumb for sure if you're playing something like Space Invaders or Joust or something. You need to hit the button.
How's the emulation on that? So we can answer it. Like, Atari is simple to emulate. I mean, is it?
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I figured.
It's pretty much one for one. Sound and whatchamacallit, sound and
you need Devilish for Game Gear. Huh.
Yeah. Yep. No, it's on the list. It is definitely on the list.
I told him too to get Dragon Crystal, which is an awesome roguelike, and just for grins and giggles, if you can get it for under $10, get the original Mortal Kombat, because it's such an inferior version compared to.
Oh yeah, but it's so fun. It's so fun to see like that happening. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, but yeah. So, just because I had to look it up because when you have the seminal Atari programmers working on games, I feel it like only right if I get the names right. And it is in fact David Crane and Dan Kitchen it's David Crane and Gary that worked on Circus Convoy, and it's Dan, his brother, that's working on a new game that's coming soon. It's been coming soon for a while. It's supposed to come out this past summer, so I don't know if they're taking a break or something happened or whatever. But that new game's supposed to be out.
See, what I really want is an FPGA. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you up, but just an FPGA that can do 2600, 52, and 7800, and they can support all types of controllers or USB, and it can just do those three games, play it from the cart, make it under $200.
That's shut up and take my money right there.
Yeah, dude, I would be more excited about that than an analog pocket. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's cool. Just give me something that because that would capture the experience. I can put in the cart, no fuss, plug in a controller, and I'm done. And it would upscale because it's HDMI. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, and it's like now that we're having this conversation, I'm like, oh man, again, I need more days in the week and more time because now I just want to sit here and just start playing Atari 2600 games all
that's why
it's so good.
Just pick up the Activision collection for Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, I could do that.
That'll get you. That's probably my most played cart.
Let's scratch that itch. I had the Activision Blast. That was pretty cool because actually I could plug it in directly into the Legends when I had the Legends Ultimate. You can actually take the HDMI Blast. Forget about that controller. The controller that was in that package is garbage. But you just plug it in directly into the Legends, and it just loads all the games. And then your control deck, you can actually use the control deck as the controller, which is really neat.
Oh, look, he's got the paddles.
The Pong flashback bat. That's awesome,
dude.
Yep. But the Activision one, that's a sneaky one. I bought it for $5, but it had, I think there's 47 Activision games that had ever come out on the Atari 2600, and on that Blast, there's like 30 something of them.
Oh, wow.
It was incredible for
So
$5.
you can just use that as a controller though, right? If you want.
What, the blast?
Yeah.
On the Pong controllers, I'm not sure actually.
Okay.
Are those 9-pin, Mike? Oh, yep, that's the Space Invaders blast. Yep.
Nice.
But the Activision blast though. Let me see Activision.
That's nice. Get everything nice and clean in box. Even
Awesome.
Very cool.
I actually haven't opened these yet.
Oh.
Yeah,
But I got them on the cheap though at like on clearance at Walmart.
that's where I got.
That's the way to do it.
Like $4 or I think.
Dude, any retro thing like that's $5 or under, I'll buy all day long. That's
Yeah. Oh, sweet. They actually still have them on. I mean, they're not $5 anymore, but I can get the Activision one for $14, and it's still got 20 games on it,
Nice.
which is awesome.
What type of connection is that? Is that AV or
HDMI?
HDMI? Oh, dude,
Yep.
sold.
So yeah, I mean it's a good time. I mean that controller is, like I said, it is not good. The one that comes with the blast is not good at all. But it's, if you have a control deck, if you have an At Games Legends arcade, you just plug it in and just use the control deck on the arcade.
That's okay. Fun. That's what you're saying. That's what I was getting mixed up.
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, Rick Tony wants to know.
Use original controllers on the Retron 70C? Yes, you can. In fact, that's what we were just talking about. I use the original 7800 controllers and the 2600 paddles on the Retron, and it works fine.
I think can't you also use like the original 3-button Sega pads because they have like the same connectors?
Yes, you can. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put a 6-button Sega in there, and it'll still work. It's just only one button.
Well, those are more comfortable. So I mean,
yeah. Yep. And I had one. The only problem is the Genesis controller that I got a 6-button Genesis controller, and I didn't realize it was USB instead of the 9-pin, so I can only use it on my computer, and I can use it. There's technically you can get it to work on the Retron. But it's not the way I want it to work.
That's why you haven't used that. Okay.
Yeah, so I haven't been using the 6-button, but that's okay because I have the.
I've noticed I can only get the 6-button to work on like the player 2 side.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it just so happened that was the way I plugged it in, when I first started playing, because that's where I had. In my original setup, the Retron was pushed up against my mixer, and it was on the left-hand side, so I couldn't use any of the player 1 slots. So I just plugged it in, and so it worked. So I'm like, oh, I guess it just sees it. No matter what one you use, it's always player 1. But yeah, I use the Hyperkin. What is it? The Soft Beach or whatever.
It's a pretty decent controller, isn't it?
Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, this is okay. I use this to play Golden Axe with, so
it's very clicky.
It is very clicky. Yes.
I noticed like some controllers are just like that.
Especially when I'm in a boss fight. It's just like,
That kind of adds to the intensity though.
It is pretty cool. Man, that last boss fight though. Dungeon 4?
Don't spoil it. I haven't got a chance yet. It's on my watch list.
Well, I won't spoil what happens in it, but I gotta say, like, that it was a thinker for a little bit. Anyway, it was very, very cool though.
Cool. I can't wait to get on that.
So I guess we can just roll right in. I mean, we're an hour 13 in, so I guess we're gonna go from some topics to the topic was us just having a chat, I think.
But that's great though.
That's it, right?
Yep,
that's how the show goes, which is great.
Truthfully, the way me and Rich, that's how we kind of prefer it, is either if it's just us two or guests, things naturally flow. In secret, those topics are kind of just a backup, right? Like we don't have anything to talk about. That's our secret.
To talk about, yeah. So I'm going to refresh on here just before we kick it to final thoughts and the chat in general. Yep.
So I take it no voicemails. That's okay.
Nobody called in today. I just checked the Google Voice on the other monitor, but no.
You guys can call us anytime.
Yeah, I mean, literally, even if you're on the replay, pick up a phone, call the number, leave us a voicemail, and on the next show we will play it. Just like keep it, like no NSFW stuff. It's not cool. That's not cool. But anyway,
right.
But yeah, call us and say hi. So in the final thoughts category, of course, anything you guys want to say, anything you guys want to plug or whatever, if you have some cool videos or whatever, this is that time to do that, of course, to promo stuff. And also anyone else in the chat that's listening in, got some last minute questions for any one of us, throw it in the chat too. We'll get to that before we wrap up here.
Let's let Mike plug whatever he wants.
Yes, of course. Yes, Mike.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a little reintroduction. My name is Mike. I have a YouTube channel, Miketendo Power. I like to do retro gaming unboxings, gameplay videos, collection videos, all sorts of cool retro gaming, anything retro really. I'll even look at old magazines and stuff. So if you're interested, please check me out. I could use the sub, like, comment, ring the bell, all that good stuff.
Awesome.
Cool.
That's cool. Yeah, definitely. The link is in the description of this very episode. So no matter where you are, if you're listening on Spotify or your podcast service of choice, or if you're watching here on YouTube, in the description there is a link to Miketendo Power. Go ahead and give him some love.
Yeah.
It's always awesome. So cool. What do you got, Ed? You got something you got cooking up over on the Evercade Effect?
Yes, I do. So currently, for those who haven't watched my videos, I kind of did a fun spoof thing on getting my fake impressions of the renovation collection, and I had a lot of fun doing that because you can see I used my extra Atari cart, and then the thing moves, and I had a blast making that. So I had to think of something. So that was a lot of fun. And then for next week, and then Five Below is in no way sponsoring this show or anything, but I have to mention I found out through EMC Murd, I don't know if y'all watch them, that Five Below actually has Xbox, Xbox S, whatever, and whatever the generation of the PS4, they have those games. Sometimes there are some fillers, but you can find some gold. You just have to be careful, not to pay for a free to play. But I actually found the dual CD of Risk of Rain and Risk of Rain 2, which I like the original indie one better. So my next video is kind of hey, could this be on Evercade? And I show some footage of both and kind of an Evercade / pickup video while I'm waiting for the renovation collection. So that'll be out next week.
It's very cool. Very cool. So, and then over here on Bacon Ice Cream Productions, of course, we have our Monday through Friday normal stuff. It'll be a question mark because I won't spoil anything, but there'll be more Golden Axe Warrior to be had. Where will we be? Well, you have to wait and see. On the INTV side of things, we just did the Slapshot Super Pro Hockey from the Intellivision Collection 1 on the Evercade, as I was using the VS as my tool for that. But no more. We're done with Intellivision Collection 1. We've done every single game on the cartridge for INTV Tuesday. So that means we have to go to the Ultimate Intellivision Flashback that is right down here on the floor, right next to me. So we're going to be playing some stuff. And someone in the chat already, well, not in this chat, but in my chat over there, has already said, please play some iMagic games. So we're going to start off with Demon Attack, which is awesome for next Tuesday. So that's going to be awesome. And then, of course, there's Question Mark Wednesdays, where we play something off Xbox Game Pass in the indie side of things. And got a cool game coming tomorrow. It's already done. And there'll be more for next week. And then we're back in the store randomly selecting games in the Atari VCS store on Atari VCS Thursday. And then, where am I? This Friday is in Atari Lynx Collection 2 for the Fun for Five Richest Picks. And it's Jellicoe 1 following Friday, which is awesome. And, of course, the Evercast, Saturdays.
Yep.
Come on over, have some fun, talking all about Evercade all the time. We are still in Data East Arcade 1, talking about these games. Where are we now? We're your Wizard Fire, Breakthrough, Tumble Pop, and possibly Darwin.
Yep.
Is what we're talking about. This coming Saturday, we are back. Life got in the way. We weren't there last week, but that's okay. We'll be back.
Rich had honey to-do list.
Okay. We had stuff to do. But we're having fun. And then, of course, maybe, just maybe, if I can get it all done, the premiere on the channel of Rich's Retro Restorations, and it might be something really cool. How cool? What is it? I don't know. Maybe we can get a little flash. Maybe it's one of these.
Ooh.
One of those, maybe. We'll see.
Heck yeah.
See if we can get it to work. So there we go. And what else we got? Oh, Gremlins and renovation coming in tomorrow from Amazon for Rigatoni. That's awesome. Hopefully that means good news for you, Ed.
Yeah, I know. It's Canada's fault. No.
Need to look into Antstream as well. Yeah, Antstream's pretty cool. I've been playing on the Atari VCS for a long time on that. It's very, very cool. As Chris knows. Yeah, Antstream is pretty awesome.
It's supposed to come out for PS4 at some point, but I think
Antstream? Yeah.
I could try to rig up something to play it on my Fire Stick, but meh.
Yeah, the other thing too is there's a competing service, right? There's PiePacker as well, and not a lot of people are talking about it, but they're still ramping up, trying to do stuff over there in the PiePacker land. And what I'm waiting for is for them to do some kind of deal with Google and have YouTube integration for PiePacker. And the second that happens, I think I switch and start trying to play there because I'm a backer. I backed the whatever the one was that came with the hardware, which hasn't. They haven't even started making it. But that's
you're a backer for the Packer. I love it.
I am a backer for the Packer. That's right. But I got the ones that came with the Pi readers. But they haven't even started manufacturing the Pi readers. But that's retro hardware in general. You back something and maybe 2-3 years later you get it.
Yep.
That's how it rolls.
I guess all good things come to an end. So we created content. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Yep. Thanks so much everyone for hanging out.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Heck yeah, dude.
All right.
Totally.
See you guys.
Retro Gamers.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.